Well, good morning and welcome to the Demo Zone, where we take a look at game demos to decide whether or not they are worth playing. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on doing another video today, but this game comes out in 5 days and it's one that I'm really looking forward to. By YouTube's own Bellular Games, we are going to take a look at The Pale Beyond. Alright, so it is a strategy game that takes place in an Arctic setting where it seems that your choices will matter. Oh, the air be's cold. Oh, the air be's cold, a flake and white, a sailor begs their pledge. And I guess we have our choice. Out in the ice, they'll stake a claim and carve a course ahead. Of homes they'll dream, of warmth long lost, and chase to Frostworld's edge. A hunger draws the desperate here. Such lonely souls need lead. What will you do when steel hearts break and courage does abscond? I'll lead these souls, so help the gods, out of the pale beyond. Begin your journey. Well, that was kind of interesting. Makes me wonder how else that poem can go. Crew wanted. Able-bodied crew wanted for dangerous expedition. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. Glory to be had in the event of success. Address overleaf. You're alone in the office. The tea in your hand has long since gone cold. It's perfectly adequate. Looking around the room, you can make out a collection of military books. On the desk is a ship and a bottle. A metronome ticks away steadily. I find it rather calming. The dedicated rhythm soothes the senses. The room is sweltering, the air stiff and stale. Keep waiting. Your footsteps climbing the stairs that brought you here. Remain standing. The door behind you swings open. The captain bounds past you to the other side of the desk. Do you have all your teeth? Open mouth. You bare your teeth to the man. Good. Can never be too careful. The captain sits down. It's the little things you can lose people to. I've not had scurvy before. I've not had scurvy before, if that's what you're asking. There's more things to worry about than just scurvy. How many people died under your supervision? More than I'd care to admit. Can you remember their faces? Every single one? Please, take a seat. Thank you. The chair is uncomfortably large. The seat feels worn. I'm Captain Hunt. The pleasure is mine. Robin Shaw. He nods. On your desk, what ship is that? Ah, this? Detailed, isn't she? Incredibly. An old sailor superstition. I hope you weren't waiting too long. I'm told it's worth the wait. Good. There's been a lot of candidates. Some good, some bad. Interesting mix. I'm sure you understand the need for discretion. Keep listening. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. That didn't deter you, did it? It's to be expected, surely. I thought it blunt, but it's proven remarkable at weeding out the weak and the pretend. I've a few questions first. He looks down at his list of questions. Were you born a landlubber or a sea dog? If I knew, I'd tell you. I've been all over. But I'm here now. Ah, Mutwash. Plenty of those joining. Myself included. Military experience? Sailed the merchant lines 12 years. Very good. Well, what did you trade in? Anything we could get our hands on? He nods. Have you ever fired a weapon? Yes. Have you ever killed a man directly or otherwise? No. You're not married, are you? Of course not. You better not have a death wish. One must believe they'll return to justify leaving in the first place. Any less, and you're doing yourself a disservice. Let him continue. We're here to find the ship in that bottle. The Viscount. Heard of it? Yes. The captain eyes you. Wasn't it a ship trying to find the magnetic south? Very close. It was a research vessel, to be specific. Did they? Did they what? Did they find it? Magnetic south? I've no idea. She never came back. Her last known location was 200 miles south of land, presumed lost to the ice. It's a bit late for a rescue operation, then. They're probably dead. Alive or not, their research is supposedly of extreme importance. All right, you have my attention. The captain smiles. Here's what we do know. Not one person or thing has been heard from the Viscount since it left port. So we're chasing ghosts then. Maybe it's a myth, maybe it isn't. I can assure you the money is real. Those with more money than sense want that old ship. That's the job. If I don't pick the first mate, somebody else will, and, well, my judge of character's got me this for. What of our crew? Quite the mix. A work in progress. Some I've known for years. They get in on trust and experience. Others, well, they interview. And how large is this crew? As I said, a work in progress. I'd estimate over 20 when all settled. We do have transport, though. We'll be traveling on board the Temperance. She's a beauty. Greenwood. Generational. Not many like it left these days. The Viscount and the Temperance. They're sister ships. Built together. Sent out into the world to die alone. Poetic? Indeed. I like to think one calls out for the other. The captain looks at the bottled ship. So what do you think? It's worth it if there's a chance anyone's alive. I agree. The captain checks his watch. Anyway, I think I've heard enough. The captain stands up. We leave in a month. Well, welcome aboard, Shaw. Proverbially speaking. You're not what I expected. And what did you expect? We're more than our mistakes, Robin. Let people surprise you. I'll see you on the Temperance. I have a good feeling about you, Shaw. The feeling is mutual. The captain makes his way to the door and you follow. Okay, so we have gotten past the interview phase. You arrive at the docks a month to the day. Before you lies a ship the letters on the side spelling temperance. Approach the temperance. You walk the cobble to the boarding ramp. Beside is a sharply dressed man overseeing the loading of cargo. Speak to the man. He turns to you with a stern expression. You can feel his eyes assessing you. He's unable to place you. May I have your name? I'm Robin Shaw. Oh, of course, that would make you the captain's choice for first mate, correct. I'm Mr. Templeton. I shall be operating as the chief science officer on this expedition. I'm also the incumbent representative of our benefactor. I do, however, consider myself and my team at you and the captain's disposal. Mr. Templeton, I look forward to working together. I expect you to be up for the task. Some of the layabouts Hunt hired are questionable at best. No doubt I needn't inform you of your duties. You're second only to Captain Hunt himself. Though I must warn you that you have quite the task ahead. The rabbit I've spent the afternoon sorting are the same that you'll have to whip into shape. Punctuality, schedule, a strict adherence is what we need if this expedition is to succeed. I expect you to be organized, sort. You would not have been assigned to the role otherwise. I doubt there will be much issue. We can only hope. But your role is more strenuous than it would first seem. Let me know when you're ready to depart. The less valuable time we waste here, the better. A young man. The city. The temperance. A young man stands at the ramp, steeling himself for the journey ahead. Hesitantly, he begins to drag his feet up the ramp and onto the ship. Hunt's description of the ship was accurate, near identical to the Viscount, barring some modern additions. Whoever did the graphics for this game, you are astounding. This stuff is beautiful. The music is great too. It's been a month. A hunger draws the desperate here, such lonely souls need lead. What will we do when still heart break and courage does abscond? Ali, these souls shall help the gods out of the pale beyond. First Mate Shaw, personal log. It's been 1 month since I signed on and 1 week since we've set sail aboard the Temperance. I'm told the waters will get warmer as we pass the hemisphere before they turn colder. Captain Hunt has mostly kept his quarters so far. I trust the captain. The captain seems a trustworthy sort. Experience alone justifies his position. There aren't many who make out on the other end of naval military service with all their limbs, let alone his vigor. I've heard the rumors. Drinking, desertion. There's probably a good reason he's dressed in antiques. I do find myself warming to the man. As for the rest of the crew, there are now 20 of us, including the captain. Our next port will be our last before we enter the ice, to pick up the remaining 4 members of the crew, the scouting team. Hunt is also keen to work out a deal on a pack of sledding dogs. I've sailed with worse. We came across all kinds, trading with merchants, but rarely this split. I've never been on a ship like this before. A technical marvel, elegant machinery expertly weaved through one of the fastest hardwood ships of its day. Reborn for this mission, breathing again with life, she's simply magnificent. I can't help but wonder who's footing the bill for all this. Certainly not the captain. Such exquisite modifications to the ship mustn't have come cheap. I intend to investigate further. One of Hunt's sailors approaches. Captain wants you at the helm. I'll head there now. He leaves. Join Hunt at the helm. We have the captain's quarters and forecastle. You ascend the stairs to the stern and find the old captain manning the helm of the ship. Ah, Robin, lovely day for it, isn't it? It is indeed, Captain. Indeed. It's days like these I make sure to do my share of the sailing. He winks. Let him continue. He thinks for a moment before stepping aside and stretching out a wrinkled hand. Did you ever take the helm in the merchant navy, or were you stuck carrying crates? Here, why don't you have a try? Take the wheel. You grip the wheel of the ship and feel the weight of the waves in your arms. The memory in your muscles rear themselves as you begin to move in time with the ship and the wind. Easy. There, you have it. The captain pats you on the back. Fantastic. Now try to get a sense of where we are. Get some perspective. Peaceful, isn't it? Panning and zooming speeds can be adjusted in the setting menu. He takes the wheel back from you. I think I'll drink the morning in a little longer. Would you mind preparing my quarters for the day's work? There's much to do. Okay. Apparently, we can go up to... Crow's Nest. So we have a crow's nest, we have forecastle, and we have the captain's cabin where we're headed now. A tub. A pristine furnished tub secured to the floor. A luxury to be had on the ice. A classical painting depicting sailors doing battle with a kraken. An ode to an old folk story known to all Captain Seamus. Or was it Hamish? The desk. On the desk you make out a variety of papers, notes, and maps, as well as a sealed letter with a stamp you recognize as the mark of the Apperton Tinning Company. The desk itself is suspended with ropes to keep it safely in place. Apperton, huh? You take a seat at the end of the room. The captain joins you. Now let's run through our provisions before taking requests. To start, there's 23 souls signed onto this expedition, ourselves included. That's 16 free to be assigned to tasks if they aren't already busy. The rest are deployed to their permanent stations. You are only able to deploy crew who you have discovered, and they must be in good health and not otherwise deployed to another post. We'll be picking up the scouting crew at the next port. The lot of us also seem to be in good spirits. The expedition will tear itself apart if you end the week with no decorum left. We've enough provisions for at least 6 months in case of emergency. Crew members will start to develop scurvy and be unable to work should you end the week with no food left in the hoosh pot. And more than enough fuel to see us there and back again. You all freeze to death if you end the week with no fuel in the furnace. The sledding dogs, well, they're still a matter of negotiation. Dogs will be needed to send sledding teams out to gather resources on the ice. Now, on to work. A sailor enters. We found a stowaway in the lower hold. Bring them in. Another sailor enters, leading a young man by their side. You know, you're not the first stowaway I've had. The captain studies them further. You know where we're headed, don't you? I do, sir. The ice. Did you know that before you climbed inside that crate? I did, sir. Har, how old are you? You're hardly a useful pair of hands. Not true. I can pull my weight, sir. Do you know your jaboom from your bowsprit? Sprint? I do. I learned it all from my da. Your da? He's Ward's son. Followed him on board back in the city. What should we do with him, Captain? Well, Shaw? Hunt eyes you up. You're first mate. What should we do with him? So I can either go with keep him on board, not staying on board. It's your decision to make. Well, I'm not throwing a kid overboard, so I'd keep him aboard. Hunt squints. You need all the help you can get. This young man wants to help. I'd say we let him. All right, boy, consider yourself part of the crew. Be sure to keep your nose clean and follow orders. I will. Thank you, sir. Captain, not sir. Aye, Captain. The stowaway joins the two sailors below deck, now a member of the crew. Well, it seems the litter has a new runt. I hope the rest won't mind sharing their rations. Max crew increased to 24. What of the father? I doubt he intended for this to happen. We'll keep an eye on both of them. I suppose you're right. Well, that matter's sorted. Cordell. Have you agreed upon my conditions? And to the point, eh? Shaw, this is Lady Cordell. Cordell here is to provide us with the kennel of hounds for the sleds. And our agreement was that she would train them up until we part ways at the nearest island, but... You neglected to inform me that you were bringing my dogs through the Pale Passage. I had no intention of sending the pack to its death. You seem to have good faith in this expedition. It's one thing to ask for my whole kennel, it's another to drag them into the ice to chase a myth. Never before has a buyer been so dishonest. And never before has a seller made such strong demands. Lady Cordell? A moniker given to me by the locals of the city. On account of her vernacular, I find it odd that you seem to have researched me as much as you have my kennel. I like to know who I'm negotiating with. Regardless, Shaw. She demands we allow her to come along on the expedition, as a member of the crew. None on the ship have the experience and familiarity with dogs that I possess. If you're taking them to such a brutal location, they will need me to guide them if they have any chance of survival. The humans on board too, of course. Of course. You can see my dilemma, Shaw. We've just accepted a stowaway. Bringing on another member of the crew is a risk, but our hands may be tied. Your thoughts? I don't see the harm in having an expert on the sled dogs. A good point, Shaw. He turns to her. This deal is already to your benefit. Do you have anyone on board with extensive training in the management and ruling of dogs? Your sleds are useless if you can't control the dogs efficiently enough to haul them. And I would like to ensure my dogs are treated properly. Welcome aboard, Cordell. Your knowledge should prove valuable. Invaluable. I'll have a room prepared for you below deck. Max crew increased to 25. No need. You'll find me in the forecastle with the dogs. She leaves. I hope I'm not making a mistake, Shaw. 14 dogs available. Finish request. Okay. Now that that's all settled, I have one more errand for you to run. Could you grab the Stoke brothers and order them to meet me up deck after dinner? Hefty lads, red hair. You couldn't mistake them for another. Do you require me for this meeting? No. This isn't a matter the first officer need concern themselves with. They'll be down on the middle deck. In the meantime, you should grab a copy of the crew's manifest and get acquainted with more of the crew. Oh, very well, sir. Captain. Things are starting to look a little icy here. Join the figure balancing on the mast. Upon closer inspection, you make out the ship's photographer, Kasia Belford, balanced on the ship's mast with her camera lining up a photo. Wait for her to finish. Snapping a shot, she clambers down, only noticing you on her landing. Oh, Officer Shaw. It's about time I met the first officer of this ship. Kasia Belford. Yes, I've heard of you already. You have? Well, I'm not used to having any kind of reputation. I suppose there was some sort of rule against what I was doing up there? Deepest apologies, but sometimes there's a shot you just cannot pass up. An accomplished photographer, Kasia Belford won the Bellular Prize, the highest honor in journalism, for her work covering plague outbreaks and riots in the capital. It came as a surprise to many that such a reputable journalist would take such an interest in this expedition. There was scarcely any chance of Hunt or the benefactor turning her away. You expected someone of her accolades to be older, more experienced. This is likely her first time on the sea like this. Her accomplishments surely outweigh her youth. Experience is a matter of interest, but her accolades speak for themselves. The cold game. Picture that as a header. What? For the piece on this voyage, I'm trying to come up with a snappy name. Nobody will read it if the title sounds like the work of an amateur. I'm not the creative type. I'm sure you'd know better. Kasia tilts her head and grits her teeth, holding an inner debate with herself. Maybe not. How about Hunt's Incredible Voyage? Too fantastical? I suppose I'll find the right name when the time comes. I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? Apologies. I'm just a little excited. I've never been on a voyage like this. I suppose in your experience the open ocean is the home of the mundane. Though I suppose you never traveled this far south on merchant lines. You have that right. That's a shame. Looking out on that open ocean, I don't know how anyone could find it dull. It's no wonder the great explorers like Kurt Darling would always come back to it. That reminds me, he'll be joining us at the next part. I should get his picture at some point. Kasia holds up her camera with a sense of pride before holding it up to her face. Stand still, Shaw. Please warn me before doing that. Oh, sorry. It's for the manifest Hunt wanted me to put together for you. She hands you an annotated document. Here it is, the crew manifest. And so we have several people we have not met yet. We have sailors, scouts, engineers, scientists, specialists. Is that me? Yeah, that's me. Apparently the flash was a little bright. Resource cards and key items. Why is an accordion a key item? I don't know. That's interesting. Okay, so we have Timmy Runt Ward, Sailor, Stowaway, Saltborn, Killian Smurf Sanders, sailor, ice savvy. Amelia Corvette Sparrow, sailor, ice savvy. Joseph Joe Grin, sailor, ice savvy. Alright, so here's our manifest, and we close that there. It's a work in progress. The scout team are to join us at the next port, and the captain's forbidden me from the boiler room. If you could ask the others to get their portraits taken, I'd be very grateful. Don't want to leave anyone out. I'll see what I can do. I'll not disturb you of your work any further, officer. I have a few more shots I want to get before the sun lowers anyhow. Safe shots, officer. Don't worry. You leave her to her work. Interesting character. 2 Johns. Send below deck. You spot a large man with a youthful gait, carrying a heavy crate over his shoulder with relative ease. Oh, you're Officer Shaw. He gives a bright, warming smile. 2 Johns. That's what they call me. I'm sure you'll get your nickname later. 2 Johns attempts to offer a handshake, but loses control of the crate. He struggles before firmly holding it in place with both hands. Maybe later. Work awaits. John added to the manifest. Okay. We have 25 crew members. We have met 5 of them so far. And we should be heading below. Did we go to the right place? I think we might have gone to the wrong place. Or did we? That's Forecastle. That's where our dogs are. No, I think we're going to the right place. I think we must be wanting to go further. Ah, here's middeck. Alright, so crew's here assembled here for eating. We'll approach the cook. You find yourself almost knocking over a man carrying a heavy pot. Careful, careful. You almost got drenched in that broth. Apologies, I'm in a rush on request for Hunt. Apologies. From Hunt? Is there an issue with the ship? No, he just wanted me to find the Stoke brothers for a meeting. Not surprised. Those 2 are the only ones who know what's going on aboard this bloody ship. You hear a roar from the other side of the door. Oi! What's holding you up? The cook shakes his head with a smile and chuckles slightly to himself. He grabs a large pot and prepares to make his way to the hungry crew before turning his head to you. If you don't mind, could you carry that tray of biscuits behind me? Carried the tray. You grab the plate and follow the cook out the door and to the table where the crew are waiting with bated breath. Upon the cook's arrival, the sailors let out a rowdy cheer, the ship's cook placing the broth upon the table. Trust me, fellas, this one is worth the wait. The cook speaks with a tone of pride as he ladles the broth into the bowls of the crew. Oi, one at a time, you animals. Wards, you're awful handsy for only one arm. Ah, piss off, Junior. Get some bread here, too. Grab it fast before Tucker beats you to it. The crew laughs, and our merriest Junior guides you back through the kitchen. We weren't properly introduced. Robin Shaw, right? I've been keeping track of all the new crew. You're in Stokes, but no one buddy calls me that. You'll hear them all call me Junior. You should do the same. No idea why Hunt picked someone he's never worked with as first mate, but you seem the helpful sort. Glad to have you aboard. Have you been traveling with Hunt long? My brother and I are among Hunt's most tenured crew. It's not often he'll hire outsiders, but I suppose this job is too big for just the usual suspects. You seem popular. Well, you know what they say about the hand that feeds. Besides, half the crew I've known for years. You don't spend that much time on a ship with folk without learning all about them. Well, Hunt wished to see you as soon as possible. Ah, yes, good old Hunt. Never a rest on this ship, let me tell you. Especially when Hunt takes a liking to you. Call the crew for dinner. The crew have their meal. It passes in relative silence. The crew return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in preparation for the evening. Twilight falls. Oh, okay, so I guess they're sleeping here too. Over dinner, you overhear the newly picked up stowaway speaking with a one-armed man. But you're lucky Hunt didn't throw you overboard. Half a mind to do that myself. Come on, I'm here to help. Better know that involves work. Don't expect special treatment. I won't. You're an impossible child, Timmy. Doug Ward added to the manifest. So we have met 6 members of the crew. Technically, didn't we meet 7? Because we met one of the... Well, we met Junior, didn't we? Okay. Enter your cabin. Okay, cabins. Well, it is a ship, so what can you expect? The cabin's tiny. Looks like we have a wash basin. We have a lamp, a table, a chair. Some books. Nice. A mirror. We got our bunk. And probably locker storage underneath. That's all you can ask for. And go back up. The ocean. Templeton. Let's talk to Templeton. You spot Templeton looking out into the sunset. As you approach, he turns to you and nods. Officer Shaw, it will be some time before we see a sunset such as this again. The light distribution towards the southern pole is quite the change. It will be quite some time before we return home. Indeed. Templeton keeps his focus on the reflection of the setting sun over the stirring waters of the ocean. There's a great expectation upon us, officer. From who? Who is this benefactor of ours? That is not for you to know. Not yet. Templeton looks down, catching his reflection in the ocean's surface. He looks back up at the sunset. Quite the sight. But I wouldn't linger upon it too long. We should retire for the evening. It is important for the first officer be well rested. Use E to advance to the next week. Okay. I guess we hold that. We do. Ooh, 3 Celsius. Food rations. Oh, no, we don't. Oh, but if we don't... Oh, are they all gonna die? I don't want to give them half rations yet. They're barely into their journey. Oh, the ship makes its last port at Whaletail Island. Cordell's sledding dogs are picked up. The scouting crew and Kurt Darling are picked up. The days are getting brighter as you move further south. I'm surprised we didn't pick up supplies at the port, too. Why wouldn't we pick up supplies? Two weeks on the Temperance. There's a rap on your cabin door. Come in. The door swings open to reveal Kurt Darling, all but filling its frame, grinning ear to ear. There you are, Officer Shaw. The ship's navigator is a difficult man to miss. Stature and reputation precede him. Adorned with a slew of apparatus, the seemingly one-man expedition would be known to anyone following the heyday of exploration and the merchandising that followed. I know little. Well, I can't say I don't know little of the man. Apparently, he was very well known. It's an honor. Really, a wealth of invaluable experience in such a hostile environment. I wonder he's not been swept up to some other post. Hiding away from the rest of us, are you? Are you always this early to rise? These days I tend to enjoy a good lie-in, but not during an expedition. You know what they say of early birds and worms? Apologies for not stopping by sooner, Shaw. It took a while to set up my team, and a great deal of the crew were quite eager to meet me. It's not often they work with a film star, is it? Certainly. It's completely understandable on their part. There aren't many who haven't seen my films, particularly in this line of work. More than one fellow on this crew said my work inspired them to explore the world. Quite the honor, is it not? I'm certain you receive that praise often. Not as often as you would think. I suppose I did get distracted, didn't I? Anyway, I was hoping you'd join me up deck. Of course, but why? We're finally entering the pack. I thought you'd want to see it for yourself. I'm right behind you, Kurt. Just a little note. It's either I'll be right behind you or I'm right behind you. Kurt turns to walk away before turning back. Oh, and enjoy your morning. It's a good day, Shaw. Har. He leaves. Kurt Darling added to the manifest. Open your journal. The ship makes its last part at Whitetail Island. Cardell's sledding dogs are picked up. Okay, so we've seen that. Alright. Well, I mean, so far it's a pretty interesting story. Although the lack of food so early on is going to be a challenge. Hopefully I've not made a mistake in picking up a couple extra crew. Doctor's office. Now who's this person over here? Mrs. Gloss. Let's go ahead and meet one more person, shall we? You note one of the science team returning to their room. Ah, Mrs. Gloss. Did you have a good rest? She nods to you. Ah, hello. I did not expect many to be up this early. Harriet Glossley. Were you just above deck? Yes, I had risen a brief while ago. I believed a walk around the ship would help acclimate myself to the waves. Perhaps it will take some more time. With that, Mrs. Gloss makes her way back to her cabin. The science team aren't used to the sea, or the sailor folk. Quite the culture clash, isn't it? Well, I'm sure they'll grow used to them over time. Har. Harriet Glossley added to the manifest. So we have met 7 crew members so far. The door to the doctor's office remains locked. Seems the good doctor isn't in, or perhaps enjoying his sleep. You're yet to come across the ship's doctor even after all this time. Saved game to tree. Okay, so we've actually had a game save. Oh, that's good. We have here join Kurt at the bow, or go to the helm. Well, we did promise Kurt we would join him. You join Kurt at the bow of the ship. You both feel the temperature break the floes below you. Gripping the railing, he draws an enormous breath. The footing beneath rises as the ship mounts an impending ice floe. There's a moment's hesitation before a profound crack relieves the ship, cascading across the ice. He exhales. See? Nothing else like it. You weren't wrong. It's something, all right. Look at the ice. No two cracks are the same. All caused by us. By the laws of nature, this place wants us dead. And yet, here we are, traversing in harmony. How fantastic is that? How far are we from land? We're about a week's sail from the last known location of the old Viscount. Assuming she isn't exactly where they left her, we can't take smooth sailing for granted. Same goes for this daylight. It won't remain this bright for so long once winter encroaches. Beautiful as the ice is, on this course, it's going to get thicker. He looks out across the white. We won't be so confident when the leads dry up and we're stuck here till the next cycle. We need to change course. Avoid the pack. Have you informed Captain Hunt? He won't listen to me. Thinks I've been dulled by retirement. I've probably seen more ice than he has whiskey. We have enough supplies if it comes to that. Not the supplies I'd be worried about in that situation. People will turn on each other before they let themselves starve. Have you ever experienced the long night winter? It's not pleasant, to say the least. I can't say that I have. We're only as good as the unhappiest man, Robin. I'll do what I can. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Kurt nods and turns back to look across the ice. Oh, it looks like we can still meet whoever this is. As at the stern, you notice an older sailor at the helm. The old man takes in a deep breath in the cold air before letting out a satisfied exhale. Morning. He eyes you up. Officer Shaw, right? Lefty. Call me that on account of, well, should be obvious. He chuckles. Don't worry about the bad sight. This is all feel. Just keeping her steady. He examines you. Surprised Hunt picked from outside for his first mate. Surprised as well. He seems the insular type. He is. You must be something special for Hunt to look outside the ranks. You've got the experience at least. Merchant Navy's quieter though. Mornings like these are about the only peace I get from the younger lot. You should take these moments when you can. Lefty returns his attention to the helm. And we have met another member of the crew. Well, like I said, this game comes out in 5 days as of today. And don't know how much it's going to cost yet. There is no price point on Steam. However, I'm guessing in the $30 range. I'd like to see it at a $20 price point, but I can see 30, 40 might be a bit pushing it. But what I've seen so far this game, it's really interesting, and it does look like your choices are indeed going to decide what happens during the game. Yeah. This is going to be a good one, I think. Kudos to the team at Bellular Games, because they've done a incredible job with what I've seen so far. So, it looks like we may have March's Let's Play, and then we'll see where it heads. Tell me in the comments below. What do you think of this game? Would you play it? And until next time, bye for now.